Here we go. What's going on, everyone? March Madness is upon us. We are here. The brackets are being revealed. We just got done with the final conference championship games. We just saw what Iowa defeat Purdue to win the Big Ten championship. So right now we're seeing a lot of teams on pins and needles. You know, I'm here with my guy Walker. We're gonna be joined by Mo later on. Walker, what's going on, man? You excited about the
Yeah, my
and the
dog's
dog,
really
man?
excited.
Walker's
Yeah,
dog makes an appearance.
my
Love
dog's
it.
excited. Yeah, man, I'm excited. We've all been kind of waiting on this moment, and we come away with winners and losers right away. And in that first region, I kind of like. That's a brutal region. You've got Duke as the 2. Texas Tech's played really well. Arkansas is really good. Alabama already beat Gonzaga, and they're somehow in Gonzaga's region. So I'm just excited to get down into all this. The Foster Lawyer revenge game with Davidson, Michigan State. I think the committee's done a good job with matchups to this point, and I'll be interested kind of once we sit down and see how things shake out, where I'm going to go picks wise. UConn is sitting in that region too, so it's a loaded region.
I'm just trying to pull up the bracket right now so we can just discuss the unveiling of the. Let's see. I can find it. But what's the matchup so far? Okay, so for people who haven't seen, we got Gonzaga taking on Georgia State, right? Make sure I got everything correct. Okay, yes. And we got Boise State taking on Memphis. Memphis has been playing some good basketball of late.
The over-under on that game is going to be like 75.
Yeah.
That game's going to be the absolute sicko no points game in the first round.
Yeah.
But both of those teams are really good and could give Gonzaga problems with their length and size.
Daddy.
Yeah. So Memphis has really come on of late.
Daddy. Daddy.
UConn versus New Mexico State.
Daddy, why are you looking for?
I'm looking at the thing. Reeling the bracket, mommy.
Look
You
at
excited?
them.
Yeah. UConn versus New Mexico State. We got Arkansas versus Vermont.
My grandma.
We're still waiting for who Bama's going to play.
Bama's got Rutgers, and it's the winner of Rutgers Notre Dame.
Okay, so they play the winner of that. So we got
I like
Texas
the Irish there. So I'm gonna go. I don't have to pick that game, but I'm gonna in light pencil put Notre Dame in that spot.
You got Texas Tech, Montana State, Michigan State. Davidson is going to be fun.
I think a lot of people will automatically put Michigan State in that next round, but I think one of my biggest takeaways from that region is I think Davidson could easily reach the Sweet 16. If you're Duke, I don't think that that's who you want to see in the next round because you've had so many problems guarding the perimeter. And we saw that yesterday against Virginia Tech. And Davidson as a team shoots like 43% from 3, and that's how they want to play. It's very similar. It's a lot of 5 out, and Davidson's got a couple legitimate NBA prospects on that roster.
Yep.
So you don't really – I think if you're Duke, you really want to see Michigan State. You really don't want to see Davidson. It's a horrible matchup. And Duke may get by on talent, but that's certainly one that would give them a scare, I think. So,
yeah, Duke's worrying me, man. Obviously, that's my team, and I hope they go all the way. Obviously, but man, they've scared me of late. Just the way they played the UNC game, and obviously, yesterday in the championship game versus Virginia Tech, just kind of getting outmanned and stuff. And like you said,
teams that have a lot of success scoring from the perimeter have given Duke problems because as gifted as their guards are offensively and as creators, they don't guard very well. They don't defend very well. And that's kind of been Duke's problem all year, and that's what got them beat against UNC. It's kind of been ever since, I guess, really since they played North Carolina and Chapel Hill, and I know they've won that game in a blowout. But UNC was coming down and getting wide open shots every single time they ran down the floor. And I was like, this isn't going to work. Like, you may win today, but you're not going to win long term by doing that. And even to some extent against Syracuse, we saw that in that middle round of the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
So we've got Arizona as the 1 seed in this next region. I don't know where they're sending them, but they are the 1 seed. I'm assuming that they'll go.
They're in Cali. They're in San Diego.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what region that is. Is it the Midwest?
That's the South region.
Okay, so yeah, it's the South. I want to see Kentucky here and as the 2 seed.
Seton Hall versus TCU. Mike Miles versus Kadari Rich. That's
Yeah.
a matchup I'm looking forward to see.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I really like. It's cool to see TCU in the dance. Jamie Dixon's done a lot there. They've already beat Kansas once, scared the hell out of them a second time in Lawrence. So that's a really good team. Seton Hall been hit or miss in the Big East this year, but I mean, like you said, Kadari Richmond, and then they always have guards.
We got Houston versus UAB.
That's scary if you're Houston, man.
Yeah.
You want to jump in front of Jelly Walker, be my guest. Like, dude's been dropping 40 bombs on the regular. That's a team full of Power 5 transfers. That's not a Group of 5 team. Andy Kennedy is familiar to the 5-12 spot. He came in and beat Wisconsin a couple back in 2014 at Ole Miss as a 12 seed. I mean, they know exactly what they're getting into there, and he's familiar with the dance. He's going to be they're going to be well prepared, and they've got a lot of talent, and they've got a guard that can legitimately take over a game. And Houston doesn't really have their guards anymore. They both got hurt.
Yeah. And we got Illinois versus Chattanooga.
You know how I feel about the Mocs, man. That's not what I wanted them to draw. I don't know if they have the size on the interior to handle Kofi. I think that I would have rather seen them draw Providence. I'm going to be in
Providence is a better matchup for them. I think Providence is a team that I don't see them going that far.
Well, the metrics hate Providence, and we've started to see
Michigan.
The metrics hate Providence, and we've started to see why these last couple games. They're 12-2 in games decided by 6 points or less or overtime games. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you get in that many close games, you're bound to regress to like right around 500 in those toss-up games. So I think that that's something to keep an eye on in the dance. You can check, like if you check KenPom, I think they're sitting around 40 in KenPom, despite the fact that they're in the top 25. And in real life, Colorado State is a 6, headed to Indianapolis. That's a team that I've been on a lot this year, talked about a lot. We had Isaiah Stevens on One Shining Pod with Chris and I. Their starting guard. They're really good. David Roddy is one of the most fascinating prospects.
Such a tank.
Yeah. And he's just the most tweener, weird NBA prospect ever. And Michigan will be a challenge for them. It'll be interesting to see how the Rams can handle Michigan's interior size and the way that they've defended.
With DD and they're gonna. It's a matter of what Michigan team we're gonna see, because I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if they go to Sweet 16, but I wouldn't be surprised if they lose by 20 to Colorado State.
Yeah,
one of those teams that you don't know.
For America's sake, I think for America's sake, we would all love to see Colorado State, Tennessee on that Saturday. And Tennessee is going to get by there. Longwood's not a problem. I think we would all love to see Colorado State and Tennessee go at it on that Saturday, because Tennessee's playing as good as anybody in the country right now. But you know how Rick Barnes gets in these tournaments. It doesn't matter.
He goes MIA in the tournaments. It's been his MO since Texas.
All right, let's see who this 10 seed is against Ohio State, because the 10 seed is a
Loyola. They got
Loyola. Yeah, Loyola's auto advance. I'm like Ohio State. Just it's been a really ugly down the stretch, and I think they're just kind of
What happened? What happened with
they just haven't been very good. It's been EJ Liddell, please carry us. And I mean, Liddell maybe gets them there, but Loyola kind of has the size to counter them there. Villanova's the 2 in the South. That's interesting. That means we're looking for Kentucky, and Auburn is the last two seeds. But Ohio State I hadn't really had the guard play to keep up in the Big Ten as good as the other teams have been in the backcourt. I'll say this: I'm trying to avoid picking all of the Big Ten teams. I think that conference is generally mediocre, but they all beat each other, so we rank them really high. But they don't typically have a ton of success in the dance. And this is someone who picked Illinois to win the national championship last year. So
me too.
I was there, and so I think this year I generally would like to pick against them, which is kind of like, oh, well, you've been high on Chattanooga and they got a Big Ten team. Isn't that great? No, I don't want Kofi. If you had told me, give me any other 4 seed, it would have been anyone else. And Swayze is not thrilled about it either. She's pissed. I do think the UAB Houston game is one. I wish that game was on Thursday at like 11:30 in the morning because that's one I'm going to be really excited to watch. Colorado State Michigan is going to be Thursday. That'll be a good one. Delaware, the Blue Hens, they could scare Villanova. That could be a problem for them.
Villanova won the Big East. I was in the building yesterday for Nova Creighton. They're gonna need some scoring, man. It was like 19-18 in the first half for Creighton. Mm-hmm. Like they should have really dominated that game, but
yeah. Well, if you want a team to circle for next year, circle Creighton. That's a Final Four team next year. I don't think that they're. I don't even think. I know they're not that good this year, but I think they're there next year.
And you know what's crazy? They could have won. They missed so many open shots. Alex O'Connell had so many wide open threes that he just couldn't hit.
Yeah. So we are 50% of the way through the bracket. Notable teams still left. Kentucky's left. Auburn's left. Kansas is left. I really don't want Kentucky and Kansas in the same region. I think those two teams are good enough to meet in the national championship. That's obviously not happening now because they're on the same side of the bracket. I think that's a Final Four caliber game. So I don't want those two teams in the same region. As someone who holds Auburn at like 30-1, I don't really want them in Kansas's region either.
Kansas is good, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping because I'm trying to think of who else your 1 seeds are. We're missing the 2 Big 12 1 seeds. We're gonna get in the Midwest. We're gonna get probably Kansas, and then in the East we'll probably get Baylor. Yeah, so I'd love to see a Baylor Kentucky bracket and maybe a Kansas Auburn bracket. Really, either way that works out. I know a lot of people are going to be upset about Tennessee as a 3 seed. I thought that was kind of trash. I would have had Duke as a 3 seed.
I thought. I mean, the way they played down the stretch, and like I said,
how many good teams did they have to beat in order for them to earn a spot on the 2 line? Like, I mean, they beat Auburn, they beat Kentucky twice, they beat A&M and won their conference. I mean, they beat everybody. They beat Arkansas.
They beat everyone.
They literally beat everybody in that conference that you could have wanted them to beat, and they still couldn't get a spot on the 2 line.
Yeah, I thought after winning the SEC tourney, that they were definitely in line for a 2.
The problem with the SEC tourney is it's on Sunday, and I think a lot of the brackets are already decided.
That may be a factor.
Before that, and I think that the SEC and other conferences would be wise to put their conference championship games on Saturday.
That makes more sense. I don't know why that's not the case. I don't know why they,
So I'm trying to think. So, and then on the back end, some teams that we're waiting to see that we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen Texas A&M yet, who made the big SEC tournament run. We haven't seen Xavier yet. SMU with Kendrick Davis still hasn't been put in, which they may not get put in at all. Some of those first 4 teams are really sweating it out, and we've still got I think it's a 12 seed play-in game. So I think we've still got 2 teams that we're waiting to see who on the bubble who get in. I think Xavier and SMU are going to miss. Probably.
Yeah, with Richmond, right? Richmond getting that automatic.
Richmond's got to be in there too. I bet that sent the committee scrambling this morning. Like, change the whole bracket. Richmond got in
because Richmond getting the automatic big obviously scares one of those.
I bet they send them to Dayton. And have them play one of the other, like whoever the 12 seed is. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we got like a Dayton Texas A&M game and. Or a Richmond A&M game in Dayton on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day they would play. I think, because there's 2 games Tuesday and 2 games Wednesday. So
Kansas is the 1 seed in the Midwest.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
We got San Diego State as the 8.
Oh, that's scary. That's a gross matchup for Kansas.
Versus Creighton.
Yeah, I think San Diego State can defend Creighton. That's kind of your biggest thing. You know you're going to be able to score on Creighton typically. I think they can defend Creighton, and that's a big – I think that 8-9 game is fascinating. Both teams present unique problems for Kansas.
And Iowa's a 5 seed.
That's a dangerous 5 seed. I'm not a Fran ball guy. I don't love Fran. But Keegan Murray is your 5 seed. It's not Iowa. It's Keegan Murray is your 5 seed.
Yeah, against Richmond. There we go. So
yeah, so I like Iowa there. I think, although man, Richmond's got a guard, Jacob Gilliard, 6th-year guy down there, and that dude's a feisty defender. He could force some turnovers, and if they could get in an up-tempo game and force some turnovers against the Hawkeyes, that could be interesting.
And then we got Providence. Providence as a 4, and they'll be taking on South Dakota State.
Oh, I'm picking the Jackrabbits.
Yeah, going with the upset.
Yeah. That's an easy one, I think. I mean, South Dakota State. What are they, like 25-3 or 28-3 or something like that? It's something crazy.
30-4, South Dakota State.
Yeah, and they've got shooters everywhere. They're going to cause a lot of problems for Providence. I think the one thing you worry about is can they handle Nate Watson on the interior? But if they can hold their own on the interior and rebound, then I think that's an upset. I think that's a solid upset right there.
LSU versus Iowa State.
Yeah, I think LSU probably has too many athletes.
Yeah.
But, how does Will Wade being fired impact the Tigers?
That's what I'm saying. How does that affect? I mean, it has to affect them.
I think you could argue they get better.
Could be. It could go either way.
The rap on Will, or the reputation for Will Wade, is that he's one of the worst bench coaches in college basketball, but he has incredible connections in recruiting. So they have, and obviously, their NOA came out on Thursday.
Yeah.
They have immense levels of talent. So I think they can get by with their size and talent there and forcing turnovers and defending their way to the next round.
Okay, so we got Wisconsin taking on Colgate, 3-14.
That's a really great draw for LSU. LSU got a really good draw there because I'm not a big Wisconsin buyer. I think LSU has a good shot to get to the Sweet 16, even with an interim. Which, God, what an indictment of Will Wade that would be.
Yeah. They got USC as a 7.
Yeah, it's another one that I don't like.
There's Miami. Oh, that's a good game.
That's two teams that I really don't like.
Miami is another team that's like, if they make a deep run, you would be surprised. But if they lose in the first round, it's like there's such a.
It's just such a weird an ACC team and a Pac-12 team that I really don't like. I'm not really sure. That's kind of a hard pick because I don't like either team in that game.
And then Auburn as a 2 seed. Auburn's
got a solid run. Auburn's got a bracket here.
They got so far they might have the easiest path to the Final Four.
Yeah, and Kansas is the problem there. If Kansas gets beat before, Auburn's going to be in the Final Four. You're not getting a Wisconsin or a Providence run here. You got them both in the same bracket. If you're Auburn and Kansas, you're jumping up and down because you're on a crash course here for the Elite Eight. I don't know the problem with Auburn is going to be, do their guards do anything absolutely stupid to cost them a game late?
Yeah.
And who was Auburn's 15?
Who was their 15?
We'll see. I'm about to get it right here. I'm a little bit behind you. They got
Jacksonville State.
Yeah, that's a little messy. That's screwed up. Jacksonville State shouldn't even be in the tournament. Because that was the one where Bellarmine won their conference tournament, but because they were new to Division I, they weren't allowed to go to the tournament.
Really?
And so Jacksonville State got in because they won the regular season, or they finished second in the regular season or something like that.
That's silly.
It was total bull jive. I'll tell you what. I know that they have no shot at winning, but props to Johnny Jones at Texas Southern for continuously putting his team in the tournament and winning the SWAC every single year.
Making waves. I wonder if he'll get be looked at by some of these other big schools.
Well, he had a shot at LSU and didn't win. And so he hasn't gotten a second chance, but he did have a chance. But yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, this guy can clearly coach. So we've got one region left. So we know we got Baylor as the 1 and Kentucky as the 2. I don't know who your 3 seed is. This Kentucky bracket is probably going to be not good.
No.
Yeah. Also, so I'm automatically. I've got South Dakota State in that first round. Yeah, that's happening.
And that was South Dakota State versus.
So you're gonna get Baylor, Kentucky, Purdue, and UCLA in this last region. Those are teams that are all still on the board.
They still haven't been picked. That's gonna be a doozy. Auburn should really have a easy. I mean, they should be a shoo-in for the Sweet 16 easily.
I mean, yeah, Auburn should roll. Auburn should absolutely roll.
Yeah, regardless if they're playing USC, Miami, they should take care of business. Miami doesn't have any interior that could stop. Let's see who else is on the line. Yeah.
I think too, another one, it's not a great draw, but it's a pretty good draw, and against the spread I may be there. But I think Colgate got a good draw. I think Wisconsin's not a horrible draw. I think Wisconsin probably advances, but Colgate's going to be a tough one.
Okay, I'm trying to pull up the bracket.
Granted, man, I'll say this: every game is tough. They're all tough.
Yeah, because you just know.
You know who else is going to be in this region is Texas is going to be in this region. So we're going to get Baylor, Texas, Purdue, UCLA, all in this last region.
What do you want, bro?
I think if you're Kentucky, you're glad that you got Baylor, but that's not just a cakewalk.
No.
That's kind of brutal. If A&M is in there, then they'll be in this last region. Indiana is going to be in this last region if they made the tournament, which they should.
Yeah, they should. They should get an attorney. They're a tournament team.
I'm scrolling through to see who else we've got in. Who else we maybe have? We got Murray State already, right? No, dude. I think Murray State's in this region too.
Oh, yeah, Murray State's not in. They haven't.
We're gonna get Murray State in this region. St. Mary's is going to be in this region, dude. This
is going to be a
bear. Yeah. Virginia Tech is going to be in this region.
Man, Tech, man, impressive tournament run.
Yeah, I think I got most of the top seeds there. San Francisco could be in this region.
Okay, I think they were. Yeah, and we definitely plan on doing at Off the Ball Network. We plan on doing a bracket challenge. We did one last year that had some success that got a good turnout for us. So we're definitely going to do that. Just be on the lookout. Follow us on social media, and we'll have that out. The details out for all that. We'll have prizes and stuff. So that'll be fun.
So San
Francisco, I did horrible last year.
Yeah. San Francisco and Wyoming are two teams that are going to be right around that 10-11 line. One of them could miss out, which would suck because they're both really good, and they both have potential March stars there. So you kind of hope you see them in this bracket. Norfolk State, okay, whatever. I'm sure that they're thrilled to play Baylor.
Norfolk State versus Baylor, Carolina, Marquette.
That's another one. Is North Carolina is in here? I think Marquette probably wins that game with their ability to shoot the three, and Carolina's inability to defend.
St. Mary's plays the winner of Wyoming, Indiana.
Yeah, so Wyoming in. I'm glad Wyoming found at least a pathway in. Indiana's going to be tough, though. Their defense is really good. It's peaking at the right time.
Yeah, I'm a big Trace Jackson Davis fan. Like I've been high on him.
Well, Maldonado and TJD is going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Wyoming's got a couple guys there.
UCLA as a 4.
Yeah, that's what we expected, I think.
UCLA takes on Akron.
Yeah. Did you see how Akron or Kent State before the Akron game had 4 guys suspended?
Yeah,
that was wild.
We got Texas as a 6.
That's brutal.
And they'll be taking on Vatech.
Oh man.
I think I'm penciling in Vatech with
you just gotta wonder. I do wonder how much Texas's depth and size and length impacts Vatech's ability to shoot the 3. But Vatech is peaking at the right time. So
that's what I'm saying. They're playing good.
Texas hasn't peaked yet. So, and they've got Chris Beard on the sideline. So hard to fade a Beard team in the dance. But I think I'm with you there, though.
Purdue has a 3.
Yeah, and then Kentucky.
Yale won the Ivy League today.
Ivy League was good this year, man.
Yeah, that game was good. Them versus Princeton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yale was actually an underdog in that game too.
Murray State as a 7 seed.
Yeah, well, I bet San Francisco's their 10. I hadn't seen it, but I'm guessing. I'm hoping.
And the 10 seed is, let's see if you're right, Walker. Murray State takes on San Francisco.
Great. I like that. That's a great game. Great game. 2 mid-majors who have had a lot of success. That's gonna be a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, that has a classic feel to it. Like,
yeah, and Murray probably wins, but man, it's gonna be like that game's gonna be so much fun. San Francisco can really fill it up.
And who we got as the number 2 seed? Kentucky Wildcats, who
their 15 is going to be someone weird. So A&M did not get in.
I don't see A&M. No.
They didn't get in.
They're not in now. So St. Peter's.
Yeah, St. Peter's is a good story too. I mean, they're not going to win that game, but good story. So we're going to get potentially a Sweet 16 of Jaden Ivey versus Oscar Tshiebwe, or Jaden Ivey versus Ty Washington.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah, sign me up.
All right, so Baylor, Norfolk State. So Baylor versus, you got a potential Baylor UNC matchup, Purdue. Let's see, Murray State, Kentucky. You got
and also, how cool is this? If Murray State beats San Francisco and Kentucky wins, we get an all-Kentucky battle in Indy with Kentucky and Murray State.
That'll be a fun game.
Dude, Kentucky got screwed.
So, all right. So the Big Ten had 9 teams, the most teams to make the tourney. The Big East had 6. Big 12, SEC with 6. ACC with just 5. Mountain West with 4. The WCC with 3. Pac-12 with 3. That's disappointing. The first 4 out. And so Dayton, Oklahoma, SMU, A&M are out. Or they're waiting still. Wait.
No, they're out. That's it. We're done.
Yeah, they're out. Yeah, they're out.
They're out. They're the NIT 1 seeds.
And so kind of Richmond.
I know Richmond. So Richmond calls somebody.
So who you think
Xavier didn't even get close. Xavier didn't even get close.
Xavier wasn't even the first 4 out.
Yeah, they didn't even get close.
So last 4 in was Indiana, Notre Dame, Rutgers, Wyoming. First 4 out, Dayton, Oklahoma, SMU, Texas A&M.
So Texas A&M got totally hosed.
Yeah, I thought they were going to get in.
So here's the thing with A. So A&M.
Rutgers has some good wins. Their quad one
but
wins.
A&M. So you're telling me though that Notre Dame gets to go to Dayton, even though Texas A&M beat them head to head and played in a better conference.
Who are Notre Dame's? Let me go check Notre Dame's. Their wins. Their notable wins. Notre Dame. Let's see. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. All right, let's see. I mean, they beat Kentucky early on.
Yeah.
Okay, they got a win over Carolina. A win over Miami. And they lost to Vatek twice. So I mean, not a bunch of good quad. A couple solid quad one wins, but that Kentucky game was early in the season when Kentucky
Yeah,
was
but then
figure
if you
stuff
go in
out.
here, so let's go in and do the same thing with Texas A&M, right? So A&M has wins over. They beat Notre Dame. They lost to TCU. Let's get to January. They beat Arkansas.
Okay, that's a good win.
They went on that big losing streak. There's no good wins in there. They beat Alabama. They beat Mississippi State, who was fringe bubbly. They beat them on the road. They beat Florida, who was fringe bubbly. They beat Auburn. They beat Arkansas again. You're telling me that didn't get in?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that losing streak hurt
They lost
them.
8. They lost. They started like 15-2, and then lost 8 straight, and then like won their last 8. They were super streaky, but I thought that they got screwed. I thought they should have been in, but just me. Let's see. A&M finished the year 23-12.
And then, do you think maybe if it
I mean, you're talking A&M at 23-12 versus Notre Dame at 22-10. And you're also talking about a Notre Dame team that 14 of their 22 wins came in South Bend.
Yeah.
And I think you have to consider that when you think about that. Like, how does this team play away from home versus A&M, who went 13-4 at home, but they also batted 500 on the road. And obviously they played really well at neutrals because they made that run in the SEC tournament, which I know doesn't matter.
What was Notre Dame's conference record?
Let me see. They finished second in that conference. They were the 2 seed in that conference. I think it was 15-5, maybe. They were 15-5 in the conference. I think.
But the ACC was significantly down this year too. So
A&M was a 9-9 SEC team.
The SEC was pretty good this year for the most part.
It was really good. I mean, they finished They finished behind Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Arkansas, and behind LSU.
All top 15 teams.
And finished ahead of Alabama, who is sitting in the tournament field as a 6 seed.
Yeah. Alabama's top 25 team. Where the ACC is, I mean, how many of the usuals that are in the tourney aren't even in here? The Virginias, the Florida States. Even Carolina had some moments where they look kind of fringy. Until
Daddy, what comes this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a problem. I'll say this about the Kentucky region. None of those teams. I think when you're Kentucky's problem and the way you beat Kentucky is you have to play that like prison yard type defense, like Tennessee does, and that's what gave them problems. And none of those teams that are in Kentucky's region do that until you get to Baylor, and even then, they're not just like insane. They're just kind of good. They're not like elite. So Kentucky's going to at least be able to score. They have to get Kellen Grady on track if they want to make a serious run into national championship. But in terms of those like prison yard, like really physical defenses, they're not going to have to see a whole lot of that in this next round. That's going to be it's going to be a high scoring region. There's going to be a lot of good games that are going to be played in the in the mid 70s to low 80s. That should be a really fun region. That's a brutal region. It's a brutal region. I think. So yeah, I mean A&M I think got snubbed, but that is what it is. I'm going to be interested to see now that the matchups are out. I'm going to wait on the lines to come out, and then once the lines come out, then we'll kind of see like where
and we'll do a show on that and just go through the betting side of that because that.
Well, yeah, and even do that, and then even Tuesday maybe Wednesday once we get more finality on this thing and have the playing teams. So yeah, there's your quads: Baylor, Kentucky, Purdue. They had Auburn seeded ahead of Kentucky. So Tennessee was not even the top ranked 3 seed. Wow. Auburn was the worst ranked 4 seed. Good luck with that. I think your toughest region for the top 4 seeds is the West. And I think your easiest one is that Providence, Wisconsin region with Auburn and Kansas.
The Midwest seems like it's the easiest path for Kansas and Auburn. Mm-hmm. And the toughest is got to be you say the West, right?
I do, but I think so. I think the toughest region as a whole, though, has to be that. I guess it's the East. Because I mean, you just have so many good teams in that 6 to 12 range that can cause you so many problems and cause you so much stress before you get to the end. Like you've got that Texas team is in there. They've San Francisco, Murray State. I don't remember who the 8-9 game was in that region, but it was. I mean, I just remember it was not great.
Okay.
I will be interested to see if I can get to the window with the mocks. I'll be interested to see
Chattanooga.
I'll be interested to see if I can actually pull the trigger on that. Yeah, I don't know. I can't trust Auburn to I don't know that I can trust Auburn to get to the Final Four, but I would very much like to I'd very much like to have Auburn in the Final Four.
So just going off what we're seeing right now, obviously the brackets are released. Just off the top of your dome, what do you think the Final Four?
Gonzaga, Kentucky, Kansas, and then I need to see that Arizona bracket again. I can't remember who's in it. It's Arizona and who?
Let me see if I can pull up the bracket. See if they have any brackets that are. Let's see.
All right, I think I got it here. Let's see. Arizona, I don't know, but that's a gross region. I'm gonna go Arizona. I don't like it, but that's where I'll go because I don't think I can't take Rick Barnes in March to get to a Final Four. As much as I think that they're the best team, I think that I do think I would love to see an Elite 8 game between Arizona and Tennessee where you get that elite level defense against Arizona's elite level offense with all of those high caliber athletes running around.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you get Maternity, Kennedy Chandler, you get all these different people out there. I think it would be a fantastic watch. I think off the top of my brain, I'd go. I guess did I pick the 3 1 seeds in Kentucky? God, I'm chalky. I'm chalky.
Let's see. I want to see the bracket again.
I wanted someone that could threaten Gonzaga in the dance. So we're actually already seeing some lines. Wright State -1.5 against Bryant in the 16 game. Memphis is -1.5 against Boise State. Gonzaga -27.5 against Georgia State. Michigan -1.5 against Colorado State.
Oh, so they're favored over Colorado State.
They're favored on a neutral. Oh, here, you want a crazy one? Arkansas only -5 against Vermont.
Really?
New Mexico State +7.5 against UConn. Tennessee 16.5 point favorites. Iowa -10 against Richmond. and San Diego State -2 or 2.5 against Creighton. That's your third. That's just Thursday. Here's a wild one. Davidson a pick'em with Michigan State.
A pick'em?
Duke -19 against Fullerton.
Yeah.
My mocks +8 against Illinois. Texas Tech.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I like that number.
Texas Tech -16.
-16, okay.
Loyola Chicago -1 against Ohio State. Delaware Nova is not on the board yet. LSU -4.5 against Iowa State. USC -1.5 against Miami. Good luck. You won't catch me within.
No, I gotta stay away from that one. That one would stress you out.
Wisconsin Colgate -9 for Wisconsin, and I think that's a little high. I think
that's kind of high. Don't you?
I think Colgate keeps that within 2 possessions. So off the bat, I think I like Memphis, although Boise State's interesting. I think I like Vermont, man. I think they've got a lot of talent and they can really shoot it. And Musselman's not exactly just the picture of tournament success. I mean, you remember when he had the Martin twins at Nevada and still couldn't find a way to win.
Yeah, those teams are good. Those Nevada teams are Martin twins.
I know. That Michigan line is interesting. Like, that almost makes me want to take Michigan. Is a 1.5, 2-point favorite against Colorado State. That New Mexico State line is interesting, too. I think that they're going to keep that game with Connecticut really close. Chris Jans has done an incredible job here, and they are always incredibly competitive in these 12-5 games.
All right. So let's talk about this one team. Obviously, Gonzaga. You know, we thought last year may have been their year. Do you think are you taking the field or are you taking Gonzaga?
The field.
The field, right?
The field.
And how do you feel about their path to getting to the Natty or at least to a Final Four?
They got a good draw.
Like, he's done everything. He's won a lot of games. He's put guys in the league.
He's coached the national title games. He just
coached the national title game before. He's gotten to Final Fours with some good teams. But, you know, can he do it? I mean, off the jump, they're playing Georgia State. That's going to be potentially them versus Boise or Memphis.
Yeah, I really think they got a good draw.
They got a good draw. I mean, if they're going to do it any year, I mean, this could be any year, but who knows?
Yeah, I think Gonzaga gets there. I think that Memphis game can be scary because this is an Indian draft
versus Chet.
So, but also you get this opportunity to see, because the biggest knock on Chet is his scrawny, kind of frail, weak frame. And so if he comes in and handles Duran, then you've got an opportunity to rise up the draft board there just by proving you can.
He can lock up the number 1 pick.
He can get there. And well, listen, if Jabari puts Auburn in the Final Four, then he likely had an absolutely monster tournament, averaging probably north of 20 a game. And that type of scoring, you're not going to get that out of Chet. Just Gonzaga has too many guys, I think. I think Gonzaga has too many guys for him to do that. But that matchup is brutal for Gonzaga in terms of size. I do think overall, though, they got a good draw. I think overall they got a good draw because, you know, and you'll hate this, if Gonzaga was picking a 2 seed, they wanted Duke. That's who they want.
I would want Duke too.
I'd want Duke too.
I would want Duke too. I think Duke's vulnerable.
I do
Very
too.
Vulnerable.
I do too. I think that. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that they can guard the perimeter, and when you can't guard the perimeter against a team like Gonzaga, man, they're going to light you up. They are absolutely going to light you up.
And I know they played each other, obviously, earlier in the season, but this team, two teams are definitely completely different now, you know, from that first matchup.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I had a picture of the bracket, and then I, decided to put it down and or close it out. So I think in that UConn region, That's an interesting 5 seed. I think UConn's a scary team for Gonzaga because they're so physical with their guards, with Tyrese Martin and RJ Cole. I don't know that they're super good guards, but they're physical. And UConn just as a team attacks the glass in a way and is so athletic. That's the type of team that gives Gonzaga problems. It's those athletic. That's why Alabama beat them. If you watch that Alabama Gonzaga,
well, yeah, we talked about that. JD Davison and crew, like those guards, those 3-headed guards they gave them a lot of problems just getting to the basket and all that, being physical.
And that's why I could see an early Gonzaga exit is because Boise State and Memphis, if not anything else, they are athletic. They were showing the upset odds right there, 1 in 143 for the 16s. Shout out UMBC. Yeah, so I think it's really interesting. I think Alabama and whoever comes out of that 11 seed game is really interesting. We don't have a line for that game yet, but I'll be very curious to see kind of what that looks like because Vegas has given Alabama a lot of respect throughout the year, and so has the net, and so has KenPom. They're a team that the analytics really like. The problem with Alabama is they can't mentally lock into playing defense long enough to sustain greatness. They can't sustain that high level of play because they can't lock in on defense long enough to do it. If they can, for 7 games, lock in and play defense, they can get there.
They really can. No, they have the players to do it. They got like you said, we saw that against Gonzaga early this season. Like they look like world beaters early on.
I know. Yeah, and then they're showing this Midwest region here. I like Wyoming against Indiana in the play-in game on that Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it is. I think that I like Wyoming there. They're really well coached. I love Jeff Linder, big Jeff Linder guy. And then I really like Maldonado and EK. Indiana opens as a 3.5-point favorite against Wyoming. I'll be on Wyoming. Yeah, so Notre Dame line not there. There are a couple lines that we don't have or that we didn't have yet. I'm looking for. Boise State has already gone to plus 3.5. So Memphis opened as a 1.5-point favorite. And it's already up to 3.5. Colorado State already a 3-point underdog now. So you're starting to see some of these lines early on. So one we didn't get earlier that we now have, North Carolina, a 2.5-point favorite against Marquette. I would lean Marquette.
Yeah, that's I mean, like talking about Bama again, like that three-headed, guard lineup they have with Shackelford and Quinnery and JD. I mean, that could do damage in a tournament, And it could do some work. And
I worry about Alabama, and this is why Notre Dame would be a good matchup. Alabama's cheering for Notre Dame. They can't handle size. They struggle with size, and that's why they couldn't really hang with Kentucky long term, is because Sheboy was just too much, and even Lance Ware. They need to play some of these small ball teams, because while that 5-out offense that Oates runs creates issues for size of teams with size, the mismatch on the other end has just been too much this year for Alabama to overcome. Whereas last year, Herb Jones at the 3 kind of nullified a lot of that.
Yeah, because they're really small.
Yeah,
I mean, their best rebounders are their guards.
Wow, Providence is a 2-point favorite against South Dakota State.
That's it.
I told you, when the bracket released, I was like, yeah, the Jackrabbits, man, I like that one. 2-point favorite.
I can't wait to sit down and dive into these lines.
Oh my god! Oh, and then the game of the tournament for me. This is my favorite matchup. The one I will not miss. I will be tuned in, locked in. Murray State a 1-point favorite against San Francisco. Dead pick 'em. Gonna go at it. That's a great matchup. Akron plus 12.5 against UCLA. That's another one late. So the only ones we don't have are Kentucky, St. Peter's, and then let me check Friday. And then we don't have a couple of the first 4 ones. We don't have it.
Where are you seeing the lines right now?
I'm looking on actionnetwork.com. I'm sure that there's other places.
Oh, Action has? Okay, so I got Action. Let me go check that out.
Nova minus 17.5 against Delaware. Okay, here's another one that I know that I think will Texas minus 2.5 against Virginia Tech.
Ooh, I'm leaning. I'm gonna lean towards. Tech that plus 2.5.
I'm not gonna lie. I expected Tech to be favored, and some of that kind of is like, all right, are we sure? I'm kind of thinking about it now. Like now, that's got my head spinning in circles. I'm kind of like, what does Vegas know?
What does Vegas know? Yeah,
yeah. Or is my recency bias clouding my judgment? So another one that I'm interested in.
but that's the thing is like, how do okay? So obviously, Vatek's rolling right now, right?
Yeah.
How do we decipher that? Because you like to think that the team that's riding hot, you think that's the teams you're liking right now, and that's kind of why we're kind of falling for Vatek. So how do we not try to fall in love with that too much? Because obviously it is about matchups and all that.
So an interesting stat I saw, and I can't remember the exact year total, but it was something close to every national champion for roughly the last decade has lost a game in the last 3 weeks, like in the last 3 weeks of the season. So like these teams that are hot and rolling typically don't just run all the way to the Final Four, all the way to the title game.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think sometimes recency bias clouds judgment.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of why I like that Texas Virginia Tech game, because all of us in America are going to go and we're going to go on ESPN's app and we're going to start clicking through stuff, and like we're going to start filling it out tonight. We'll start filling it out tonight. That Virginia Tech Texas game is one where that's going to stay blank for a minute. Like there's not going to be a pick made on that one for a minute, and I'll toss and turn and change my pick 2 and 3 different times over the course of.
Boise State and Memphis is the one that's going to keep me up too. That one is like,
that's one. I think I'm on Memphis now.
But take the under on that one.
Yeah, no kidding. So another one too that I was waiting on that wasn't out, but it's out now, and I think this is a sneaky line and a sneaky game. Houston is minus 8.5 against UAB on Friday at 11 a.m. Houston struggle getting out of bed on Friday morning. I mean, that's one, seriously, like you're a 5 seed going to play a 12 seed. They struggle to get out of bed a little bit on Friday morning for UAB.
Michigan State Davidson's another one where that's going to be a tough one because Michigan State should be way better than what they are, and Davidson is kind of like that team everyone's kind of rooting for. I think that's where a lot of people are going to put their money on is Davidson.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I'll have Davidson. I'm telling you, dude, that South Dakota State line, I was expecting to get like a 5. I was expecting Providence to be laying like 5. 2.5 on a neutral floor to South Dakota State for Providence. That's wild.
Illinois scares the crap out of me because they have everything you need. Like they got the guard play and the big man to win the national championship. But there's some games where I watch, I'm like, I love Andre Cabello. He's a New York guy, but he could be wild. And in a tournament game, that could cost you. It's one thing to do it, during a regular season, but he has some games where he's having, 7, 8 turnover games. I mean, he had that one earlier season. I think he had like 11. Like it's kind of wild and all that. So I that's where I can see your Chattanooga, your mocks, taking advantage of that.
I think it'll be interesting because we do this every year. What upsets by like Wednesday or so become trendy? Like who's picking, like who's going to be the trendy underdog that ends up getting beat?
What that everyone's going with?
Yeah, that who is the underdog that everyone is like, oh, this is easy. This is a really who's the underdog that who's the underdog that
like a 3, so like 3-14, 4.
Yeah, something like that. So here's also something that's interesting before you answer that question. Davidson is playing super close to home, too. They're playing on the East Coast against Michigan State. So Davidson's going to probably have a 70-30 crowd against Michigan State.
Okay, we got to factor that. That's a factor, too.
Yeah, it's a factor.
Because I was at the game yesterday with Creighton and Nova, and good Lord, no, the Garden, you would have thought we were in Philly, because it was 80, not even, maybe 90-10. And I think that was a huge factor why Nova won to win the game, especially late in the game, because that crowd was on their side big time. So I think that being close to home is definitely an advantage.
Yeah, so anyway, so back to what is the upset that becomes trendy? Like, is Virginia Tech the trendy 11 seed that everybody jumps on, and like, is that who we? I
think that's number one. I think that's the number one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else. Chattanooga line is all the way up to 9 now. Yeah, keep pushing that.
Pushing that, man. You got to
keep slinging that thing. Keep slinging that thing up. I'll go bet the hell out of that.
I'm trying to see. What about, all right? Let's say Wyoming, Indiana. Indiana wins. You think? You think Indiana being a 12, St. Mary's being a 5? I know St. Mary's had a good season and all that. But do you think Indiana, how they play of late? They got Trace. Like I said, I'm a big Trace Jackson fan. I
think if you're Indiana, you're kind of pissed that the team that you drew has a matchup answer for TJD.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, man, that sucks. Like, I wanted Trace to have that Texas line's down to 1.5 already. Yeah, I think that Indiana, do they have a chance to win? Yes, because they can defend anybody. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, we saw that in the Big Ten tournament. They lost, but I mean, you saw how they lost. It was a miracle shot. A miracle shot at the buzzer by Jordan Bohannon. And like, Indiana can defend anybody. And the more and more they defend and beat these quality teams, they beat Illinois, the more and more they do those types of things, then you have to believe in them. You have to give them a chance. But I've told Pat this. I've told everybody this. I think I'm going to have all of the Big Ten teams out in like the second round. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I was hoping Purdue would get somebody that would scare me. I don't think that they got a 6 seed that scares me. Like, I don't think Texas scares me.
Nah.
Virginia Tech now, on the other hand, Virginia Tech Purdue set the over-under at 190.
Oh, wow.
Like, I mean, seriously. I mean, Purdue can't defend, and Virginia Tech can shoot it, and Purdue's going to get a bunch of buckets.
I saw someone tweet this. Wait 1 second.
Yeah, I'm live right now. If there's people in the comment section, give me questions. I'll answer questions. I can give people bets that I like right now. New Mexico State. Grab New Mexico State. Grab Vermont. Another matchup that's interesting from my perspective is I think Montana State. I think Tech's defense is too much, but I think Montana State has an opportunity to create a lot of problems for Texas Tech. I just think Tech struggles to a level offensively where to where Montana State could give them issues. And then circling back to Providence. So South Dakota State is in the 99th percentile in transition offense. Providence is in the 2nd percentile in transition defense. So just an absolute massive mismatch.
Yeah.
For South Dakota in South Dakota State's favor. I think I immediately lean Jackrabbits. Not even lean. I think I'm heavy.
Purdue. Like you mentioned, before my daughter started crying, I was talking about Purdue. Somebody mentioned like Purdue has a bunch of bigs, but none of them can rim protect. And they can't defend. To me, it's a horrible combination of, they can't guard in the perimeter that great, and their bigs can't protect the rim.
And how does Edey not protect the rim at 7'4"?
He's 7'4". Like even like Taco Fall, who could barely move, like him, was at least protecting the rim. I remember a few years back, for UCF. So it's like,
oh yeah,
I love Purdue. I love Stefanovic. I love Travion. Like they have, obviously Ivy, but
yeah, Jaden Ivey.
Man, they scare me too. Like they scare me.
Yeah, no, I mean it's one of those things, man. There's
not in round one scare me. Like I'm not trying to say like they're like a potential.
No, and they're 17.5-point favorites against Yale. I mean, I feel pretty safe penciling Purdue into the next round.
Yes, easily, yes.
No, but then you get into that like 6th seed or whatever, and you're just kind of like, well, shit, man. Like,
so who would they?
It'd be Texas or Virginia Tech, man. They'd have Texas or Virginia Tech.
And
the good thing is not having a rim protector can't really hurt you. But with Texas, they set so many ball screens, and that ball screen defense is terrible for Purdue.
Yeah.
That's their biggest weakness. That's why those teams in the Big Ten kill them, because they roll those enormous bigs to the rim. So, I mean, I would lean Purdue, and I think Purdue's a sizable favorite in that game, no matter who they play. But, I mean, I don't think it's like a – actually, I can tell you right now roughly what it would be because Ken Pom does that stuff. Let me see. Let's see. Purdue finishes 14th in Ken Pom. Texas finishes 15th. Be like a 1.5-point line if they played Texas. If they played Virginia Tech, it would be roughly 5. 5 would be roughly 5. So, I mean, obviously they want Tech, but I mean, you always want to play worse teams. Although I'm not sure Tech is worse than Texas. I think they're about even. I mean, you're talking about 3 teams within 8 spots of each other in Ken Pom. They're all relatively equal. So that region's going to be really hard to predict. If you come out of that with all of your picks right in terms of just that little sector, then you've done an elite job, or you've gotten incredibly lucky because all those teams are basically on the same level, including down into that 2 region when you get to the Sweet 16 with Kentucky. Kentucky's number 3 in Ken Pom, so they'd actually be let's see. They'd be roughly a 4-point favorite over Purdue, who's the next highest ranked team. So, I mean, yeah.
How are we feeling about Wisconsin? I don't know. I'm not.
I think Colgate's
McGowan's a bust.
I think Colgate's an easy first round bet at +9. I don't know if I can pick Colgate outright. Do they just scare them the way they scared Arkansas last year, and then Wisconsin grabs it late? And then maybe you pick against Wisconsin in the second round, like with whoever that. The problem is for Wisconsin, and I need to look at the bracket. This may not be right. I need to make sure I know what I'm talking about before I say it. Where's that Wisconsin bracket? It's over here somewhere. Yeah, man. And then Wisconsin has to turn around and face LSU.
No, McGowan. I mean Johnny Davis. I was talking about Bryce McGowan. That's Nebraska. Johnny Davis. Yeah, Johnny Davis a bust. I mean, they're so reliant on him.
LSU would be, according to Ken Pom, LSU would be a 4.5-point favorite over Wisconsin in the second round.
A 4.5-point favorite?
Yeah. A 4.5-point favorite. That's that's not a great. I don't think Wisconsin's getting out of the first weekend. I don't know whether it's the first game or the second game. I'll probably have them losing the second game. I don't really think I have the stones to take them to lose to what's it called? Colgate.
But I think Colgate can give them a scare, though.
I do think that. I think New Mexico State is going to scare the piss out of UConn. I'm trying to think of that Richmond, Iowa game will be interesting for sure.
Richmond, Iowa, yeah.
Yeah, so we've seen the market already. So Murray State at 30-2 is going to be an underdog against San Francisco when it's all said and done.
That's crazy.
They opened at -1, and you can the best you can get San Francisco at right now is a pick 'em, and in a couple places it's already San Francisco by 1.5. Yeah. Duke has been bet from -19 to -15 in literally like 20 minutes. That's a massive swing.
That really is. I don't know that I don't. Like I said, Duke scared not scaring me enough to lose in the first round, but I mean even covering
Yeah. So I'll be on Loyola for sure. I'll be on Davidson. Who
Duke.
else? I think Chattanooga is gonna do it, man.
The upset. If I had to go, just based off right now, I definitely would feel Chattanooga.
And what kind of piece of trash am I for tweeting about Chattanooga for like literally over a month to pick them to lose in the first round?
No, you got to go with your guys.
I have to. There's no other option. Who would they get in the next round? They'd get Houston or UAB. We're going to the Sweet 16.
They could be that dark horse, Sweet 16.
I think that's I think they're going to be a quiet underdog because their conference tournament was played so long ago that people kind of forget about them, and that's a good place to be. That's where we want them. Auburn -16.5 against Jacksonville State. That was one of the last ones to pop. We're waiting on a TCU Seton Hall. Seton Hall opens -1 against TCU, so that'll be fun.
I think we Malachi could have like that breakout, and where like people are like, yo, where did he come from? Like one of those guys that just comes out of nowhere. And
Rutgers opens -2 on Tuesday night against Notre Dame.
-2 versus Notre Dame. I mean,
I don't know where you go there. I don't know.
It's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
They're capable of shooting their way to a win. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not Rutgers can defend the three, and I would have to really dive in. I'd really have to dive in and see how Rutgers defends the three because I really don't know.
Well, I think they got the I keep forgetting his. I'm so horrible with names, but they got a really good defender. I forgot his name. I think he was Big East Defensive Player of the Year. I could be wrong, but they got some. I'm trying to think of his name. Rutgers.
So Tom Brady just unretired.
Did he?
Yeah.
Da-na-na.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, Tom, you selfish prick.
Did he really? Where did Shefty said it?
Check Tom Brady's Twitter. He said, "These past 2 months, I've realized my place is still on the field and not in the stands. That time will come, but it's not now. I love my teammates and I love my supportive family. They make it all possible. I'm coming back for my 23rd season in Tampa. Unfinished business. LFG."
Well, that's crazy.
That ends the whole Bucks. That ends that whole Bucks. Bucks looking for a quarterback thing.
Well, they got him. They got their quarterback. That's one less position. Wow, that's crazy. Well,
okay, yeah. Thanks a lot, Tom. Way to upstage the show.
What's madness?
Yeah, seriously, man. You can F all the way off.
He really loves his game of football. That's crazy.
Dude, he was retired for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
His wife definitely talked him into it, and he stayed at home with the kids for a couple weeks. It's like, nah.
Hey, man.
I got to get out the house.
Be in the crib with kids, man. That'll get you.
Yeah, that'll get you. That was the most casual unretirement ever. He had to drop it while we were talking about the bracket. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, well, hey, he's back.
Yeah. I think we hit every matchup from every angle. I mean, well, I think we got a lot of them. We'll obviously go more in depth. And actually, Chris and I, Chris Bolton, not you, Chris. You wouldn't have known you were doing this.
Yeah, I'd be like, what?
Yeah, so Chris Bolton and I are going to release One Shining Pod tomorrow with deep dives of absolutely everything. So we're going to have kind of takes there. We'll do another OTBN show at some point. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Everything down.
We'll definitely get another show in and dive in, and then get into some more betting stuff.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe Chris and I, not you, Chris, other Chris. Maybe both Chris's. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a watch along or something.
Miss Chris. I haven't done a show. I haven't done a show. I know he's
yeah.
I know he's been busy, but
he's been down in Tampa apparently pulling up for jumpers and all sorts of crazy stuff.
He's
tuned in right now, or was. He texted me, told me he's tuned in. So, but yeah, we'll do something like that, and then maybe we'll do a watch along or something like that, where some of these moments are kind of going on, and we can stream some of these games. I know last year Chris and I kind of did some play-by-play and stuff like that on
and Chris Couch and Mo they did some shows together after each weekend and broke down some games. So I'm sure we'll do something like that. We'll definitely get in the lab and talk how we'll get that, but
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We're gonna have our own bracket challenge, so make sure to I'll post a link on OTBN on the OTBN Twitter, and we'll get that. We got a good turnout last year, so we'll try to get a good note, and we'll have prizes.
We should have that out. We should have that out pretty quick, right?
Yeah, that won't take too long. I'll work on that today. I don't have work today, so I'll have some time to.
Well, I mean, I think all you have to do is hit create group and then name it.
Yeah, but I just want to make it sound sophisticated. Make it sound higher than it is.
Yeah,
I'll do that, and like I said, people share and all that, and get a good turnout. We got a good turnout last year, and I didn't do good at all because my Final Four went down and went up in flames in like the first two rounds. So
went well up in flames.
I said I picked Illinois to win it all, and that didn't work out. So, but this was fun. Like I said, March Madness is here. Can't wait. It feels like the first normal tournament in a few years. Like everything is, so that's good. And we got some good matchups. Not too many, obviously some teams disappointed they didn't get in, but nothing too, wild that were, people going up in arms over teams not making it in. So we'll see what happens. And like I
said, may mix low key with one shining pie. And we may talk about this tomorrow. I haven't talked to Chris about this. This is just on the top of my head. May try to highlight some of these women's tournament matchups.
Yes,
we're getting the bracket. We're getting the bracket here. Actually, I think in the next
they're doing it at 9 Eastern, right?
I thought it was at 7:30 Eastern.
8 o'clock. 8 Eastern.
So it's in about an hour. Hell, I may get off and eat a sandwich and go back live, even if it's just solo, and talk about it for a little while.
Yeah, that'll be dope. I'll be tuned in.
Yeah, so I may do something like that. Mainly because I've been so tuned in this year because Ole Miss is finally good. Ole Miss is finally good. They're gonna be in the field tonight. No doubt, they've got a watch party and everything down the street. They're having one of those we know we're in parties.
All right, you're not too far from there.
I mean, it would take me 3 minutes to get over there, but I'm not going. She threw out. I was at Ole Miss's baseball game a little bit today, and she threw out the first pitch. They're really rallying around them to get beat in the first round. So we'll see. They've got an elite talent on that roster. So, and then a couple of these SEC teams do. Ryan Howard at Kentucky. Shakira Austin at Ole Miss, Caitlin Clark at Iowa. I mean, there's some really exciting players, and so I may go back live a little bit later. May not. If not, I'll for sure tweet some stuff and be interested to see how that all pans out. I'm sure it all ends with South Carolina winning the thing, but
yeah.
So we'll see. But I think we hit everything for now, at least from an instant reaction standpoint. If you're ready to wrap it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I said, we'll have some more, we'll be covering a lot more of the tournament and all that. We'll break down games. Hopefully this week we'll get we'll do, from the betting aspect and all that, because I definitely want to, sit down and look at the lines and see what I'm feeling and see what you're feeling and see, get the other guys and see how they're feeling, and just kind of do a strategy of how we go about betting the tournament, because obviously there's so many different aspects of how people bet. And there is a science to it. So
there's a science to it.
There definitely is a science to it. I tried to explain this to a coworker of mine who was trying to figure out how do you bet March Madness, and I try to break it down. All right, 1s versus 16s, only once it's been an upset, but like try to break it down. 2-15s, you get some upsets and all that, but we'll definitely get that. We'll discuss that in the chat room and get that going. But like I said, Walker, tell the people where they can find you and all that good stuff before we head out.
Yeah, so Walker Bailey 8 on Twitter. It's in my tag right there. And then One Shining Pod on Spotify. Chris Bolton and I will chop it up. We'll have some stuff out tomorrow. We're recording in the morning, or either in the morning or Tuesday. I can't remember what we said, but it'll be out here in the next couple of days. So I think he gets back from Tampa on Tuesday. I think it's actually Tuesday. I actually for some reason thought today was Saturday. But anyway, point being, we'll record Tuesday, have stuff out before the first 4 games Tuesday night. And then as Chris here said, we'll be back and we'll talk some betting. We'll talk more matchups, more matchup individual type deals, and go region by region and really dive into all of this stuff and tackle it as best as we can.
Yep, I know Chris is a Duke fan, so hopefully our Blue Devils
he's a big Memphis guy too, and he texted me as soon as Memphis's name flipped over and said he was sick. He said he was sick for the Memphis draw.
Good turnaround from Memphis though. They look like it looked like it was in shambles early on. Not too far back, but
interesting to see how Penny does against other good coaches.
Exactly. His coaching has become even. You've been on him.
My theory
on him, like, hey, Penny, like, we love you. Everyone loves Penny because of his NBA career and all that. But
my theory is that Larry Brown actually started coaching, not like just individually. I think he got more involved, and that's probably why they fixed some of their issues. Also, how weird is it that Amoni Bates goes away and all of a sudden they turn things around?
And that's a listen. I know Amani's young and all that, but that's gonna hurt him.
It's a question. I mean,
he's
you have
not
to find
back
out.
before.
No, he's not. If he tried to come back right now, Penny would be like, "Get the hell away."
Yeah, that experiment that hurts Amani. I'm sure he'd probably do the G League or something, or something like that next year, or go overseas or something, because he needs to get that draft stock back up. Because
maybe he comes back to Memphis next year and kind of like after he gets his mind right this offseason, or maybe he transfers to a blue blood. A blue blood would take him.
Yeah, definitely got to get more mature and all that. He's still young, but Walker, this was fun. Appreciate you. Like I said, we got more in store. March Madness is here. Excited, can't wait.
Swayze said, "Go Mox."
Swayze, the dog of the year.
Go Mox, right?
You're a 1 seed, Swayze.
Yeah, you're a 1 seed.
You're a 1 seed. My dog's just out cold Rex for me. Yeah. Doesn't even care. But follow me Off the Ball Pod. Like I said, we got more in store. Go follow Off the Ball Network on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. And like I said, we got the tournament challenge coming out. We're gonna actually do a men's and women's tournament challenge for everyone.
Yeah, we can do both. They've made it. ESPN's made it really easy.
Yeah, they made it easy. So I'm gonna get that going. So that'll be up probably tonight. Like I said, we'll share that all that, and we'll have prizes. So we'll figure out the prizes and all that. But on that note, Walker, you be good. Swayze, you be good, girl. My dog's sleeping. My daughter is making a mess, and I'm gonna get in trouble for the mess she's making a little bit. But on that note, be well, be safe, be kind, and March Madness is here, baby. Let's go.
Yep. All right.